Shalom. Today's daf yomi is Sanhedrin daf Ayin Gimel Sanhedrin 73. Today's daf is dedicated for a shmir for the Chayalim, and so for the Shvuyim and Yeshua for Am Yisrael. In this Eis Tzara, Mishnah tells us on top of 73a, Ayin Gimel Amid Aleph, Elohim Shematzil no Sabanafsham. These are the ones that you can save with their lives. Rashi says what it means that you could save a person to save somebody else from sinning. And this is learned out from a verse. Harodef achar chavero. So if somebody's running after somebody else, or argo to kill him, you could kill the person who's trying to kill the person and save them from committing the sin of killing somebody. If somebody's running after a man to sodomize him, to rape him, then you're allowed to kill the person who's trying to rape the man. Or if he's running after a young woman who's betrothed and he wants to force her to be with him, you can kill that man. But if somebody's running after an animal to sodomize the animal, or somebody's about to desecrate the Shabbos, or somebody's about to worship idolatry, you're not allowed to kill them to save them from sinning. So Tanarabana Minayan says the Gemara how do we know somebody's running after somebody else to kill him? You're allowed to kill the person who's trying to kill him, and thereby save him from committing the sin of murder. Says you're not going to stand by the blood of somebody else, and you have to save him from being killed. Gemara says, is this what the verse comes to mean? I mean, don't we need it to teach us the following thing? We learned in the Brisa, how do we know that if you see how do we know if somebody sees his friend that he's drowning in the river, or an animal is about to kill him, or robbers are about to attack him. How do we know that he's obligated to save him? The pasuk says, "You're not allowed to stand by the blood of your friend." So therefore, you have an obligation, positive obligation, to go out and save a person from getting hurt. So the pasuk can't teach us that you're allowed to kill somebody before you kill somebody. The pasuk's teaching us you have an obligation to save somebody's life if they're drowning. Gemara says, "Inachinami." Gemara says you're correct. That's what the pasuk is coming to teach us. And how do we know that if you're coming to somebody's trying to kill somebody, that you're allowed to kill him? So the pasuk tells us, we learn out as a kavachomer argument from a young woman who's about to be assaulted. Just like a young woman who's about to be assaulted, that he's not going to kill her, he's going to blemish her. And you're allowed to save her life by killing him. Somebody's running after somebody else to kill him. For sure, you should be allowed to kill him. Gemara says, okay, this is a very good argument. It's logical, but we have a problem. Generally speaking, we don't learn out laws from a Kal V'chomer. So the Gemara says, Debei Rabbi Tana Ikishahu. So the Gemara says that Debei Rabbi learned it out not from a Kal V'chomer, but from a hekesh, from a comparison. It says in the pasuk that you don't do anything to the young woman who was assaulted, because just like a person rises upon his friend to kill him, or tzachon nefesh, and he's about to kill him, you're allowed to kill him. So too this matter, that you're allowed to that it's like somebody was murdered. If they're being assaulted, it's like they were murdered. What are we learning out by comparing it to murder? So since we don't learn out anything, it's going to come and teach us something else. It's coming to teach us an imsa made. We learn out a law relating to Nara Marasa. Makash or murder relating to Nara Marasa. Makash Rotzeach or Nara Marasa. We compare murder to Nara Marasa. Not Nara Marasa, just like a Nara Marasa, Nitain Latzil, but actually could save her. You're allowed to save her by killing the person who's about to assault her. Afrotzeach, so to a murder, Nitain Latzil, but you're allowed to save the. If somebody's coming to murder somebody, you're allowed to save that person by killing the person who's about to murder her. And how do we know that in Nara Marasa you're allowed to save her life by killing the person who's trying to assault her? The Tanan that there was nobody to save her. She's being assaulted and she's not responsible because there was nobody to save her. This teaches us that if there's somebody to save her, that you're allowed to save her with whatever manner you can. So the Gemara says, Gufa, we learned earlier, how do we know that if somebody sees his friend that he's drowning in the sea, or he's a wild animal is about to kill him, or robbers are coming upon him, that he's obligated to save him? Now how to stand by the blood of your friend. Gemara says, is this the source of this idea? You know how to stand by the blood of your friend? But didn't we learn it out from there? It says in the we learned in Baba Kama that you have to return a person who lost something that. But let's say that there's somebody himself who's about to die. How do you know they have to save him? That let's say somebody's drowning in the sea. How do you know you have to save him? So we learn out from the pasuk is extra words and this teaching hasheves gufo says Rashi. You have to save his life. So not from Osamod Damriacha, but from Shevosalo, where it says Ime Awesome. If that would be the source of Amina, I would have said Hani Mili Benavshi. That means you save his life. And I might have said, if the person is able to save himself, I might have thought that that's all it means. But to go out and hire somebody, I might have thought you're not required to do that. So therefore, we learn that from Otamar Damriacha. Meaning to say, you have to find every single way. You have to go to all the degrees to try and save his life. Now, even if you can't do it yourself, you have to hire somebody to try and save his life. The Gemara says that if a person is running after somebody to kill him, or he's running after a man to assault him, or Nara Marasa, or anything else which would be liable for death from the court, he's running after him to kill him, or from Kares, you save him. You save the person who's about to damage by killing the attacker. So the Gemara says, Almano Kohen Gadol and Grusha v'Chalutza Kohen Hedjot Imatzilon Sobanafsho. So the Gemara says, let's say there's a high priest, what are we talking about, who's pursuing an almana to assault her. Now, even though there's a defect here, Rashi says, because he's going to make her disqualified to ever marry a Kohen, we're not allowed to kill the person in this case, because it's just a regular prohibition. It's a lav, and so therefore, if it's just a lav, we're not allowed to save her life by killing the assaulter. If it's just a regular prohibition, so that's what it says. It says if it's an almana a kohen gadol or grusha v'chalutza a kohen hedge, if it's a widow with a high priest or a divorcee, with the regular kohen imatzilnos obanavsho, then we're not allowed to kill them to save her from being assaulted. Nevda ba'avera, but let's say she's already she's no longer Basula, let's say she's committed a sin. But one time he's already done it with, he's already, at this point we're saying Nevda Ba'avera, that once she has committed a sin at a certain point, then we're saying Imat Sionoso, meaning to say, if there was already a sin committed with this woman, then we don't save her from a second time. Meaning, say once he did a sin with her once, and we didn't save her by killing him. Then for the second time, we're not allowed to save her. We're not allowed to kill him at that point. So how do we know? And if there's a way to save her life without killing the attacker, then we don't save her. We don't kill him to save her from this. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Apa Omeret, also if the woman tells the potential rescuer, say allow him to violate me so that he not kill me, meaning to say he say let him do it because I'm worried he's going to kill me otherwise. Then Rabbi Yehuda says also in this case we're not allowed to kill the person. So what's the source for all these laws so basically, what's the source for the first idea that a rodef is killed to prevent him from committing certain crimes? Amakra unara, it says unara lo taseh devar. That it says for the nara, you're not to the young woman who was assaulted, you don't do anything because she has not committed something punishable by death. And so we expound the pasuk as follows: Na'ar, it's written in the masculine. Zeh zachor, it means to say somebody's pursuing a man. So that refers to a man because it's written without the hey. Nara, but it's pronounced Nara with woman. Zunara Murasa. This is a woman. And so therefore, chait, that refers to Elu Chayve Krisus, if they're going to commit a sin, which is punishable by Karis. Maves, In all these cases, if somebody is liable for death by the court, all these cases you're allowed to kill the pursuer before he assaults this person, does this thing. And why do I need all of these cases? The Gemara asks. I can do it. I can learn out by a hakish. Once you have one, you could learn out all of them. So the Gemara explains why we need all these cases. Tricha, we need all of them. Because the Rahman and If it just said it by a man, I might have thought you're allowed to kill the pursuer because it's not typical for a man to be assaulted, and so therefore you're allowed to kill him. So Avonara de Orcha, but a Nara Marasa, which is the typical way of the world, if a man is with a woman, I might have said under those circumstances we can't kill the Rodef. Because the Rahman and Nara, if it just said the case of Nara Marasa, because it's a tremendous defect if a Nara Marasa is assaulted. But Avonar, but a man, the Loka Pagamway, he's not going to be blemished. His ksuba doesn't go down. If that happens to him, I might think you can't kill the pursuer because of Rahman and Hani. And if we just had these cases, we're now on the top of Ayin Gimel on the base. I would say Mishum Dahai Rav or Pagamwe, because I would have said one is not the typical manner, and the other one is a blemish on her. Because now that she's assaulted, her ksuba is less. Avo Shara Rayos to Orchayo Vo Nafesh Pigamayo, but all the other arayos, which are the typical manner, and also there is not as much of a defect, like in Arusa, because Rashi says the Arusa is beloved by her betrothed, and now she's going to be he's going to view her as Meguna, as not something as beloved. But all the other arayos, it's not going to be such a defect, and so therefore you might have thought you're not allowed to kill him. So Kasav Rahmana and Chait. So therefore the Torah says Chait, and he said that's a karis because of Rahmana Chait. Avamina fiu Chai ve'lavin, and the Torah just wrote Chait. I would have said any prohibition you're allowed to kill the pursuer. So therefore Kasav Rahmana Maves. So that teaches us also death by the court. You're allowed to kill him. The Kasav Rahmana Maves. Avamina Chai ve'misus bezin in Chai ve'krisa. So I would have thought just a person was liable to death from the court, but not from Chai of karis. So therefore Kasav Rahmana. Chait. So the Gemara says, let the Torah write Chait Maves, or by Nara v'Nara. And if let the Torah just say any sin by death, which includes Chayve Misos and Chayve Karis, and it doesn't have to tell us about a man and a woman who are being assaulted, they want to kill the person. Gemara says, Inachinami, you're right, it doesn't need to say that. Ela Nara v'Nara. So why do we need both these cases to be written in the Torah? Chad u'miutei oved avodas kachavim, Chad u'miutei behem of Shabbos. So one is to exclude that if the person is about to worship idolatry, you're not allowed to kill him. And the other is to exclude a person who's about to violate Shabbos or to be with an animal, you're not allowed to kill him. And according to Shimon Yochai, who says that if somebody's about to worship idolatry, that you're allowed to kill him. So why do we need a psukim of Nara? So he says, one is to exclude the case of a person is about to be with an animal, you're not allowed to kill him. And the other one is a person violates Shabbos, you're not allowed to kill him. You might have thought to say, Teisi Shabbos, that you might have thought to say, learn out the law of that you're allowed to kill somebody who's about to violate Shabbos by the words of Chil. And it says because Mechalel Amos you must about Shabbos, and also somebody's about to worship. Oh, Moach, it says Velos Chalel Shem Okecha. So you might have to learn out Chil from idolatry, and also Chil from Avodah Zarah. So you might have thought you learned it out. So and so therefore you need to exclude it. And according to Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, who says that someone who's desecrating the Shabbos, you can save him, you're allowed to kill him to prevent him from sinning. So what does he say? Nara written. So he says Chad. And one is to exclude the case of a person who's about to be with an animal. So the other one, you don't need it. But since the Torah tells us about that you're allowed to save the person from killing a man from before being with a man, therefore Torah tells us also about before he's with a woman. And Rabbi Yehuda says, Rabbi Yehuda says also if she says let him be, so that she's worried he's going to kill her. Also, you're not allowed to kill the man who's about to be with her. But my commitment. So what's the nature of the dispute between Rabbi Yehuda and the Tanakama? Amar Rava b'makpedes al pigmo minicho shelo yargenu. So the nature of the dispute is about a circumstance where she's objecting to her being blemished, but she says she doesn't want to be blemished, but she's allowing to violate her so that he won't kill her. So Rabbanan Savri, a pigma kapid Rahmana, the Rabbanan of the position, the Torah doesn't want her to be blemished. And she doesn't want to be blemished. So therefore, the Torah says, kill her in spite of what she says. Rabbi Huda says, the reason why the Torah says to kill him is because she might give up her life and allow herself to be killed before he violates her. So therefore, we kill him to prevent her from giving up her life. But here in this case, she's not going to give up her life. So therefore, you're allowed to you're not allowed to kill her. So according to the Rabbanon who say that you have to kill her because otherwise she's going to be, according to the Rabbanon who say that you're not allowed to kill her because the Torah doesn't want her to be blemished, what about, according to the Rabbanon say you're allowed to kill the man who's about to assault her, even though she says, let him do it so he doesn't kill me, but doesn't want her to be blemished. What about Amana to a Kohen Gadol? A widow with a Kohen Gadol, you're going to be desecrating her. A pigma rabba kapid rahmana, a pigma zuto kapid rahmana. Torah is worried about a pigma rabba, about a great blemish, but being with the Kohen Gadol, but that case is a lav, so it's a lesser of a concern. So Torah was not makpedes on it. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't as concerned. So chait, when it says in the pasuk chait, that refers to elu chayve krisos. If a person is about to commit a sin, which is a chayve krisos with her, you're allowed to kill him before he commits that sin with her. V'raminu, but doesn't it say ve'elu naros sheishol and knas? These are the naros about whom there's a penalty with. What are the penalties? Haba choso, somebody's with his sister, then she collects a 50 shekel penalty. So. But if he is liable to be killed, then why does he get the penalty? Kimle b'derami, we should give him the more severe penalty. So the Gemara says, the reason why he gets both penalties is both liable for execution in advance and also the 50 shekel, mishum ha'ara depagma, from the moment of ha'ara that he has an initial contact with her, then he's going to be liable for the then he's liable Mishum Harasa the Pigma, that's the moment where he has initial contact with her. That's where she is blemished. If and so then he's going to be exempt from being killed. Meaning to say, at that moment where he has, once she has the Ara with her, after that point, it's too late to kill him because she's already been blemished. And but the money that he owes her, 50 shekel, that's only at the conclusion of the bia with her, and so therefore that's at a later time. And so there are two separate times, and so therefore that's why he has to pay both. Well, this is a dispute that we have. What is the moment of ha'ara? Is it the moment just of touching? That makes sense. But according to one says the moment of ha'ara is the insertion of the crown. How would explain it? So it's where he was with her, shelo kedarka. A brother was with his sister in the atypical way. And then he went again and was with her kedarka. So he can't be killed during the second attack because there was already pegima upon her. Rava says, we're talking about a case where she allows her brother to be with her because otherwise she's worried he's going to get killed. Rabbi Huda, and follows the position of Rabbi Huda that says that you can't save this attack at this point because she's saying he can be with me because she's worried he's going to be killed. Rav Papa gives a different answer, but Mafuta. We're talking about a case where she was seduced with Divrei Kol, and according to everybody, meaning say even the Rabbanan who argues with Rabbi Huda would agree, and where she agrees with him that where she allows him to be with her, we can't kill him to prevent it, and so therefore he becomes liable to pay the 50 shekel. we're talking about a case where you could kill the attacker by just destroying one of his limbs. Rabbi Yonasan ben Shaul, and this is the position of Rabbi Shaul, the Tanya, Rabbi Yonasan ben Shaul, Omer, Rodev Shaya, Rodev Acha, Chaber, Lahargov, Yochel, Atzil, Bechamir, or Verbo, Haitil, Naragov. Somebody's pursuing somebody to kill him, and you could save him by killing you could stop it by killing by shooting one of his limbs, and you don't do that, then you're liable for killing him for execution. Stop here. This is today's beautiful daf.